Okay, we're live. I hope we're live. Let's just straighten out the camera. Actually, before we straighten out the camera, let's turn the light on. Right, tonight we're having a little jewellery making and whiskey tasting session. But check it out. There's part of the bench which was covered in component parts. Tied it up. It's such a long time since I've said those words that I forgot. We still need to deal with this though, but I was hoping this bit wouldn't take so long. But yeah, we're gonna gonna sample some whiskey and start tidying up this mess, and then hopefully I can use this space to put tools like the ring bender or a bench block, some more interesting tools than just clutter and component parts, and then we can do some proper jewellery making projects live. That is the plan. Oh, we also need to anneal this piece of this gold ingot we've been working on for the last few days. So anyway, first of all, welcome to Roberts & Co. Welcome to London. It's Friday night, so we've got some whiskey. I've not tried this one before, I don't think. I wouldn't remember, but I don't think I have. Right. Let's put on the YouTube copyright-free music. So I don't have to talk incessantly. Although I'm more incapable of doing that live. It's a key requirement for going live. Right. Before we do anything dangerous, let's start drinking whiskey. So tonight we're sampling this. Aerstone Land Cask. I'm going to sit down to read all this because I can't do it at arm's length. Let's turn this down. Yeah, I think it's been a little while since we did a whiskey tasting jewellery making session. It's a tough job. It's a job I invented. I think I invented it. There we go. It's quite a dark whiskey. Yeah, it's quite a dark colour. Right, let's see what they say about this. William Grant & Sons Aerstone single malt Scotch whisky since 1887. Land cask, rich and smoky. Peat dried and matured inland for over 10 years for a rich and smoky tasting whisky with a lasting finish. Aged 10 years, distilled and matured and bottled in Scotland. 40% volume, 70 centilitres. Right, before we read all the rest, the tasting notes, let's actually open it so we can agree or disagree. What's this? Idiot proof, which means I'm going to struggle with it. Smells good. Generous amount of ice, generous amount of whiskey there. Smells good. Smells peaty. Oh, that's it's not mild. Right, land cask, carefully matured for over 10 years in the intense environment that surrounds our distillery in the Scottish lowlands. For Aerstone, we produce two distinctive styles of whisky. One called land cask, which is a rich and smoky, yeah, it is smoky, and one called sea cask, which is a smooth and easy. This is land cask, yes it is. It is quite smoky and it's not easy. I know some women like that. Master Distiller Brian Kingsman. William Grant & Son Limited. Gervanish, skillfully crafted, drink responsibly. Right, land cask. Some of our casks are matured in warehouses that are located further inland. The conditions here affect and maintain climate and help create a rich and smoky tasting style of whisky that we call land cask. Aerstone. If you like land casks, we also have sea cask whiskey to try. For this whiskey, some of our casks are matured in warehouses that are more exposed to the cooler sea air. The conditions in these coastal locations affect our maturation climate and help create a smooth style of whiskey that we call sea cask. I quite like this. What's the opposite of smooth? Coarse. Smoky, peaty. Yeah, it leaves the back of your throat feeling like you smoked a pack of fags. Or a cheap cigar. Which is all I can afford right now. Yeah, good. I like that. I'd recommend you have a go on that. The taste lingers. Put that flammable liquid somewhere back there. Right. First up, we need to anneal this piece of gold. Let me give you a close-up of this. Been working on this ingot for the last few days, actually. We poured this ingot live in a live stream earlier in the week, I think. I forget how many goes through the roller mill this has had, probably minimum 6. It's in its final squared off form. It does still have some surface marks from when it was poured and peened. It hasn't completely smoothed out, but it hasn't cracked yet, which is or revealed any porosity. It's just the surface patination from when it was poured. Hopefully, it's looking pretty promising so far. I'm hoping that is just some of the imperfections in the original surface coming through. It's quite fine. Large bowl of water which appears to have a small crack in it, so hopefully this won't make that worse. But, you know, bit of drama live. Let's turn on the microwave. I'm going to use 2 torches for this. Just speeds the process up. The mic welder would probably do this on its own, but the blazer torch, this has got so long now it won't. So we'll just heat this up to a dull red, cherry red. Hold it there for a minute or so, quench it in water, then put it in the pickle to clean off the fire scale. That's pretty much the colour we want. I'm a big fan of these. I bought these Philips Hue light bulbs, which is the background ambient lighting here. I bought them for filming. They're just recommended by most. Most people that are making lighting videos will recommend Philips or something similar, especially the ones that are sponsored by Philips, but they're not inexpensive, and I've got 2 of them. One wasn't quite enough, but they are good for a jewellery workshop, not just filming in one, but they provide quite a very controllable light source. Like in terms of not just, obviously you can get a dimmer switch for a few quid, whereas these bulbs are considerably more expensive than a dimmer switch. But it's not just the power intensity of the light. You can change, as the name would suggest, the hue and the colour. So I think this setting I've got it on is reed. Is it reed? No, it's not, it's relax. Reed is a more intense, whiter light. But the reed setting on half power is pretty good for doing operations like this. Because you can still see the colour but you can also see your surroundings. Stumbling around in the dark holding a blowtorch. Drinking whiskey. Well, I think that's long enough. Let's hope this isn't too hot. It is hot. Okay, I've got Teflon fingers after all the years of doing this. Right, some of this needs to go in there. I really need to replace that pickle. That is not going to help. It's going to be like it's like adding mud to a muddy puddle. Doing that, it just brings all the goodness to the top. So we won't be able to find the rings we put in there later. Right. Right. Over here I have this little pile of rings and bits, and some of these are, I also have this whole bag of rings which I'm scared to open. All these are ones that had, I think this is from like 2020, 21, 22, we were so busy, anything that went wrong just got put to one side, and we were going to worry about that when everything, you know, when things calmed down, and now's the time we've got to worry about it because we need to tidy up. The time has come. Also, I've got these little pieces. Maybe I'll start with these. I've got these little offcuts of 1mm wire. That one's so small. They've got to be more than 40mm long, I think, or they're not going to make a UK ring size. So, we have to make a ring out of that. It's about 56mm. We need to file that down. We can make a ring out of that, 50mm. We cannot make a ring out of that. It's 37mm. We can have a go with that, but whether that will actually be usable, because it's quite crooked, it's a different story. Yeah, first up, let's use these up. Give you a little close up of these. There we go. So, just these would have been when I was making batches of 1mm rings. You know, it comes in finite lengths, and when we got to the end, these would have been just the ends. The reason I would probably just threw these to one side is I wanted, you know, I would have invariably run out of one specific size, and I didn't want to throw an odd size into the mix. I probably should have done it, but we were that pushed for time back then. I didn't have a spare minute. Now everyone's broke. We've got this Christmas will probably have all the time in the world. So we just make 1mm stacking rings out of these pieces. It doesn't matter what size they are. I'm actually fully stocked for once, which is why no one's buying them. The only one that we run out of. Right, triplet. Then this thing, I don't know what happens to that. Nothing good. The end of it looks like a screwdriver blade. Got a real big bevel on it. Guessing that was the end cut by the bullion dealer when we where we got it from, because I haven't got any cutters that would create that size bevel. Use like sprue cutters to chop 1mm wire. It's possibly why it's so mangled actually, because they have a habit of wrapping the end, you know, where one end they wrap it round. It might have just been the actual sort of piece used to hold the coil together. Because there's nothing I would bend wire in that fashion for. I don't think I've got a mallet in here in a minute. I want to flatten that out. Parallel pliers with brass inserts. That's better. Still far from round. Right, I'll line up these joints and then flux them, solder and pickle them. A bit more whiskey. Good stuff. Little hint of cough sweets. I know what it is. Tastes like Fisherman's Friends. I think it does. I haven't had it for probably the best part of 20 years. Do they still make Fisherman's Friends cough sweets? Is that a thing? We used to dare each other when we was kids to, you know, see how many you could eat. But we used to do a lot of stupid things when we were kids. That wasn't the dumbest. I've got solder still cut up from last night's live stream. There's probably loads in this bench tin as well that's fallen off, but that's probably not a great live stream. Sweeping out the bench tin. of reluctant to put that in there at the moment. I don't want to put them on a ring. I can see from it just looks like a black cloud where I poured that water on top of. It stirred up all the silt that was in the bottom, and there was a lot. Stick them on a ring. Because they're actually quite hard to pick up. You can't see them because they're only 1 mil thick, well, 1 mil thin. But like that, there's 3 mil worth of rings. So it's like easy to pick up and pick out blind. Right, what are we doing next? I've got these rings here, which I've obviously thrown to one side. For some reason, I don't really know what. I obviously can't remember what. That one looks okay. It looks like it just needs, this 1 mil ring here, looks like it just needs joint cleaning up and straightening out. I don't know why that ended up on the pile, the to-do pile. Right, done. What was up with this one? Right, let's see what's up with that one. Porosity in the solder joint. Let's just clean the joint up a bit. It's quite badly tarnished, so I'll clean the joint up a bit. Put some extra solder in there. Quite often it's enough with porous solder joints. I've probably this would have been polished, and the porosity's revealed itself during the polishing process. And there's no point keep polishing because you just invariably end up with a very thin section of the ring around the solder joint. You don't find the bottom of the porosity bubble until you've really removed what is probably only a fraction of a mil of metal, but when you're dealing with 1 mil thick metal, 0.1, 0.2 of a mil is 20%, and it notices. So I think I'm going to use hard solder, a little bit of hard solder on that. I'm going to use hard solder on that. I don't know what I would have used originally. Maybe I'll use the... Just use some of this solder wire. That's the problem with putting jobs off for 3 years. Right, this is a 2 mil by 1 mil, 2 mil wide by 1 mil thick sterling silver wedding band in effect, band ring. apply the heat to both sides of the joint, kind of pull it through to the back and then pull it back through to the front. That still looks porous. It looks like it got worse. You know what, that actually moved. It's now that just got a whole lot worse. Now that needs soldering open and re-soldering. I don't know, that must just be from where it's sat there for so long. It's gone very wonky. What I'm actually going to do with this one, I can't really see what's wrong with this. There is a lot of excess solder around that solder joint. I guess what I'll do is I'll just heat up that solder joint, reflow the solder and stick it, because it's quite tarnished where it's sat there for a few years. So if I just rerun that existing solder joint, I guess by the time it's cleaned and out of the pickle, maybe pre-polished, it will hopefully reveal why I put it to one side and what was actually wrong with it. Right, that's those three done. What else I found here is a 1918 silver 3p piece, which it appears I soldered a ring onto the top of it, a little jump ring, and it's fallen off. So I'll give you a close up of this. That isn't that. It might not look like a silver coin, but that is a solid silver 1918 3p piece, or threepenny bit, and we turn them into coin necklaces, but they need a ring on the top. And I don't know if you can make it out there. This appears like it had a ring on the top. You can see the remains. That's not the top, that's the bottom. You can see the remains there, or I can, of a solder joint. So it's had a ring attached to it, but clearly didn't solder properly. So let's get a little 3mm jump ring, solder a ring onto that. Again, this is something that over the years I've made thousands of these. I really want the flux quite thin for this job, because you really need to be able to see that little bobble at the top of the crown to line up the ring, which becomes a bail. The capillary reaction when the solder flows as well can move the ring slightly left or right. They need redoing, but it should be fine. Instantly blew the solder off. It's quite a tricky job, I suppose. It's a 16mm diameter, probably about just over 1mm thick disc. You've got a 3mm jump ring. You kind of got to be careful with the heat, because if you get all the heat on the coin, the solder flows across the surface of it and ruins the design. Stuck that to there. That looks straight, but you really won't know until the flux is cleaned off. It looks pretty sweet. Hopefully we can find that later. Right, do we delve into this bag of bits? I'm kind of scared what's in here. I think what I really need to do with these, which I don't want to do now, is just heat these up, put them in the pick or put them in a polishing machine and clean them up, because where they're so tarnished, it's quite hard to make out what the actual, there's a Russian wedding ring there, God knows what was wrong with that. There's another Russian wedding ring there as well, it's obviously having a bad day. Some cork reds in there, large halos. Yeah, in 2020, 2021, I was selling silver rings like there was no tomorrow. Right, that is going to be another video. I think that is enough for one night's work, one live stream. Got a little bit done. I got a little bit of what could be done. These are, this pile of bits here are karma pendants. They're the round sections of karma pendants, which I need to sort out that whole collection, so I don't even know if we still sell them. I think we do. It's been a while. Right, that's it, the whiskey. I'm going to leave that in there. Hopefully in 20 minutes or so time, hopefully there's water under there from when I poured the water in. I need to dry that out. I need to let that settle so that I can see the stuff. Hopefully the sediment will settle. The only problem with that is it settles on top of the pieces and you can't see them anyway. I've done this before. Right, whiskey. Oh, that's good. William Grant & Sons Aerstone single malt Scotch whiskey, land cask. Definitely recommend that if you like strong peaty whiskey that tastes like fisherman's friends. Hints of fisherman's friends. But they don't hold me to that because I've had one since I was a kid. Right, International Spirits Challenge 2022 Gold. Yeah, that's great. I'm going to enjoy the rest of that. And I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Toodles.